So, the Puritans of the RWBY community have one of the worst hot takes, and it's hilariously bad. So apparently, they believe that RWBY is better than all anime and manga. Talk about one of the worst hot takes. Oh man. Oh, it's so stupid. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, I don't know where these Puritans come up with some of the stupidest things, but they do. And now they're trying to say that RWBY is better than all anime and manga. You want to talk about a stupid statement? Well, this is one of the stupidest. So, this is how it all started. One person said, even if Miles is kicked off at least RWBY, I don't trust literally any of the writers to make RWBY good. Just give the rights to a Japanese animation studio for the love of God. Person responded by saying, I agree on this 100%. If RWBY starts to decline even further, then they'll lose the rights to it. But if they sell it to a well-known Japanese animation studio, then they'll start to show RT how it's done, since they're natural when it comes to world building, storytelling, and characters. Now, I'll tell you, I think a Japanese animation studio would do way better with RWBY, because they definitely know how to actually write a good story, tell good characters, and world build. As opposed to where Rooster Teeth, no, they're terrible at it, and they have really continued to prove it. Now, here's where the hot take came in. In response, this is what this person said. Wow, I've seen some shit takes, but this one is up there too. RWBY is far better than anime and manga in many ways. Treatment of female characters, having LGBT plus characters, not doing fan service, etc. Also, F this idea that Japan inherently makes good anime. So, let me get this straight. You think that RWBY doesn't do fan service? Oh, you think that RWBY doesn't do fan? Oh, yes, it does. Bumblebee is literally fan service. That is literally fan service. Rooster Teeth decided to cater to the Puritans because they were wanting Bumblebee to happen so bad. That's why it happened. I mean, seriously. It was rushed, it's terribly written, and that's what happened. I mean, seriously. Bumblebee could have been good had it actually been written well and actually been, built up better, but it wasn't. I mean, it really wasn't. And, treatment of female characters? Well, then what was Weiss's arc in Volume 7? It was literally nothing. Her character did not grow from anything. She didn't do anything other than, along with the rest of Team RWBY, virtue signal to victory. No kidding. That's exactly what happened. You want to talk about good representation? Well, let's talk about anime. You want to bring up anime? Oh, let's talk about that for a minute. There are plenty of series with strong independent female characters. There are plenty of good LGBTQ plus representation. I mean, let me give you a good example of that. Revolutionary Girl Utena has a great example of a strong, actually not just one, but multiple strong independent female characters. Not only that, but they also tackle LGBTQ plus characters, and this came out in 1997, when it was more controversial at that time. I'm not kidding. They did excellent with all the characters in that series. I mean, Sailor Moon and other magical girl anime also do very well with establishing strong independent female characters. So if you were to tell me that RWBY does better than shows like these, for example, oh yeah, no, think twice, because these series, they do it far greater. Anime does it way better than RWBY ever has and ever will. Just saying. So, another thing, fan service. Fan service is a good thing, and they try to sit over here and say that fan service is bad. No, fan service is good. It's not a bad thing. People enjoy it, and, that's a pretty good hot take to say that, RWBY doesn't have fan service. Oh, it does. It does. That's exactly what Bumblebee was. So, continuing. Also, F this idea that Japan inherently makes good anime. In recent years, they've essentially nosedived into fan service and edgelord BS first, story second, thus why I've moved away from them. There's the occasional good ones, but they treat female characters poorly, handle LGBTQ plus characters, if they even have them, shitty, and make sure to push in service. You see, continuing to make the same argument. They're trying to say that fan service is bad. Like I said, RWBY did it. Bumblebee is literally fan service. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. They catered to the people that kept screaming about Bumblebee because they wanted it to happen, and that's exactly what happened. Also, Japan makes very good anime. They do. I mean, there have been some out there that are just like, but there's a lot more good than I would say that's bad. And, at least in my personal opinion. And anime handles characters way better than RWBY has. I mean, seriously. RWBY does not treat their characters well. They all have a single hive mind now, and they have lost their characteristics. They are not who they even used to be within the first 3 volumes. So to say that, the characters are treated well in RWBY as opposed to anime, yeah, no, that's not true at all. Shots every chance they can. If anything, the Shonen Jump manga showed exactly why a Japanese company should touch the show. That and weeaboo weeb shitbags. See, there you go, having to go after the fans. Redesigning and rewrites of the characters in show, which turn up fan service and throw out well-developed in depth, having relationships like Bumblebee because my waifu can't be gay. Wah! Listen, nobody cares about the characters being gay. Nobody cares about Blake being bisexual and Yang being a lesbian, I guess. Nobody cares about that. That's not a problem. The problem is that it was shoved down everyone's throats and people were sick and tired of it. That's the problem. Nobody cares about what characters do in the bedroom. That's not the problem. The problem is whenever it's pushed as an agenda down people's throats. And that's exactly what Bumblebee shippers did, which infuriated people. I mean, seriously. And then also, they ended the life of a character because they wanted to push their agenda. That's the whole reason why they ended Adam. Everybody knows this. The only thing that's gotten me more remotely back towards anime is the Tower of God adaptation because it's based on a Korean webtoon. It just sounds like everything this person's saying because, they're also trying to say that redesigning and rewrites of characters, it seems like they're just upset with people having more creativity than the actual writers of Rooster Teeth because Rooster Teeth doesn't have any creativity. Volume 7, if anything, tells you there is not a creative thought that goes through those brainless, talentless hacks' minds. I mean, it proves it, because the entire plot to RWBY Volume 7 was literally Orange Man bad, and trying to shove their politics down the audience's throat. That's literally what it was. It was nothing more than that. Not even kidding. Doesn't really matter anyways, since Volume 8 and 9 have been greenlit, and the RWBY still does well considering it trended on Twitter multiple times. Its reference in a movie was in the top of Anime Watch DL for Japan, has multiple side material and getting more going forward. It's owned by Rooster Teeth directly, so yeah, let Japanese studios have this. Also, it being personal for Earthy and crew because Monty was their friend who they worked on this with. Okay, so let me tell you something. First off, just because it trended on Twitter, which, by the way, it has trended on Twitter for bad things mostly in the recent years. It has not trended for good reasons. Secondly, it's referenced in a movie. That's because Rooster Teeth paid for a, 2-3 second cameo, which is barely even noticeable. And so, yeah, it's not because it's that popular. It's because they paid to get that in there. Was in the top of anime? No. People watched it on a website. It's not in the top of anime over there in Japan. There are far more anime and shows that are more popular than RWBY over in Japan. I just want to throw that out there. Has multiple side material. Well, guess what? That doesn't make it good. That doesn't mean that it's good in terms of writing. I mean, we've seen the side material. As a matter of fact, they're just rehashing the old side material that they were pushing years ago with World of Remnant. It's only coming back, and they haven't even made any changes to it, which they've already retconned all that information. So learning it literally does not matter. Not only that, but when you think about it, the material going forward, yeah, that side material, it's nothing but World of Remnant. And then, of course, the other 2 shows aren't even really shows. What was it? One of them is just Carrie actually talking about behind the scenes stuff or whatever. And then, of course, the other one is the fairy tale story, which, who's to say that's even going to be good? I mean, it could be, but, with everything that I've seen out of Rooster Teeth, highly doubt it. Also, because Volumes 8 and 9 were greenlit, that doesn't mean that that's established. And Rooster Teeth might even be lucky if they have 2 years at best. I mean, that's if luck is on their side. And I can guarantee you, if more political stuff is going to be thrown into Volume 8, oh no, don't expect a Volume 9. Just because something is greenlit, that doesn't mean that things can't change, especially if they continue to go more and more in debt. Just saying. And also, just because something is owned by Rooster Teeth directly, that doesn't make it good. I just want to throw that out there. I mean, with the stuff they throw out now, yeah, it's trash. They have a lot of trash now. And then people responded to this by saying, anime is far greater than RWBY, in which it is. Because this very person that was trying to state that RWBY's better than anime, okay, so what examples other than you constantly spewing the same thing, saying that fan service is bad, and saying that, characters weren't treated fairly, when that's not true. I mean, anime has done things far greater than RWBY has. And everybody can admit to that one. I mean, even when RWBY was at its peak, it still wasn't better than all anime. I mean, RWBY was definitely better than what it is now back in volumes 1 through 3, way better. But, when it comes down to it, RWBY has never been and never will be better than all anime or manga. Japan animation does all those things and better than Western animation plus fan service, which people forget belongs to like 3 genres of anime: shonen, slice of life, and ecchi, and those 3 are the most popular genres. And, here's another thing. Speaking of RWBY in Japan, well, what about their dub over there? Why don't they do that anymore if RWBY's so popular, as this person says? Am I right? It's another thing to bring up and think about. Isn't the Bumblebee relationship in RWBY fan service? It is, and that's what's selling because of it. Well, if only things were actually selling, of course. I was more pointing out the hypocrisy because they said RWBY doesn't do fan service. Yep, that's exactly what Rooster Teeth did with Bumblebee. Bumblebee is fan service. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and by RWBY lost is shit when they gave no actual character development and only just simply care about shipping war, which is fan service. And that's the only thing that they care about now, is shipping, and then, of course, throwing in their propaganda in some way or form. That's literally all RWBY has become now, because the writers over Rooster Teeth, they've gotten woke, and now they're going broke, because they're a bunch of idiots. RWBY is better than most anime, and this person responds to the GIF saying, idiot. It's so true, though, because RWBY is not better than most anime. I mean, it's just not. I mean, RWBY has declined over the years, and that tells you something. Another person responds with, I've seen a lot of anime. They all have better story, better animation, better badass women, better LGBTQ representation than RWBY will ever have. And that is true. Another person had to say, I love how this person overlooked RWBY's complete fail on race representation, since a majority of main/side characters are all white people. Of the few dark-skinned characters they have, everyone's hair is straight. So what in real life race do they even represent? Middle Eastern people? That's what they had to say, and then it shows just a screenshot of all the characters. Thing is, Rooster Teeth, they're terrible at what they do. They pander to the audience, and that's about all it is. That's why Bumblebee became a ship, because the Puritans came in and screamed so much about it, because Rooster Teeth pandered to the Puritans. That's what happened. Rather than it actually being well written and well developed, which would have been fine, they just rushed it and pandered to the Puritans. And now all they can do is white knight for their precious RWBY. Thing is, RWBY was good at one time. I mean, it was never better than all anime or manga. It never has been, never will be. But it was at least decent at one time. It was pretty enjoyable. Now it's just trash because Rooster Teeth does nothing more than pander to Puritans. This is why I have to say, Rooster Teeth, get woke, go broke. Have fun doing that. But anyways, let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube is unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like, and also be sure to share the video on social media. Spread the word and get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there. Not only that, but it will keep you up to date on when the newest videos will be released, as well as any other upcoming events in the near future. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.